Hello everyone and welcome back to Easy Spanish with Ed. Today I want to talk about the difference between le and lo or la, that is, the difference between indirect and direct object pronouns in Spanish. Here we have a table of the indirect and direct object pronouns, and you can see that the only difference is for third person singular and plural and for ustedes. Otherwise they're the same. For indirect, we have me, te, le, nos, os, les. For direct, we have me, te, lo, la, nos, os, los, las. So you might be wondering what's the difference between direct and indirect object pronouns. Well, I'll try to simplify it by just saying that we use direct object pronouns when the object receives the action directly, as the name would imply. And we use indirect object pronouns when there is an exchange, so to speak. We use it in cases where we would say things like to him or her, for him or her, with us, at them, etc. So if you're using a preposition directly in front of the pronoun in English, that's usually a hint of how it's going to be handled in Spanish. Let's look at some examples to clarify. How would you say they want to see him in Spanish? It would be quieren verlo. They want to see him. The object of this sentence is him. It's a direct object since he would receive the action directly. There's no middleman, there's nothing being exchanged in the sentence. So we use the corresponding direct object pronoun, which is lo. And how would you say they fired her? And the verb for to fire is despedir. La despidieron. Again, in this sentence, there is no middleman. There's nothing being exchanged. She received the action of being fired directly, so we use the direct object pronoun la for her. And how would you say, I bought her flowers? Le compré flores. And let's talk about why that is. In this sentence, we have to use the indirect object pronoun because she does not receive the action directly. Rather, there is an exchange. The flowers actually receive the action of being bought, and then I'm going to subsequently give them to her. Are you starting to see the difference between direct and indirect objects? Let's continue with the examples. How would you say, we told them what happened? It would be, les contamos lo que pasó. Here there is an exchange of information, so we have to use the third person plural indirect object to represent them. And this idea of an exchange is important. In fact, there are certain verbs that always function with indirect object pronouns when there is some sort of exchange happening between two or more people. And you'll get a feel for them as you get more comfortable with the language. But here's a very short list of some of them. Decir, which means to say or to tell. Contar, which means to tell in this case. It also means to count. Mostrar, to show. Dar, to give. Enseñar, which means to teach, but it also means to show. Did you show her the painting? ¿Le mostraste la pintura a ella? Since le can mean to him or to her, we often add il or ella to clarify. But it's optional. You don't have to add it if it's already clear who you're talking about. And again, the painting is directly receiving the action of being shown, so we have to use an indirect object pronoun to say to whom it is being shown. So now that we've gone through a few examples, let's have a short quiz to test your understanding. I'm going to give you a few sample sentences and you have to guess whether we would use a direct or indirect object. We are going to visit him tomorrow. This would be the direct object pronoun lo for him, because he receives the action directly and there is no exchange. Can you lend her a pen? Here we have to use an indirect object pronoun because there's an exchange of something between two or more people. So we use le to represent her. Why didn't you ask them the answer? Here you're asking for information and there would presumably be an exchange of information between two or more people, so we have to use the indirect object pronoun. Les represents them. She really misses him. Here, he receives the action of being missed directly. There's no exchange, so we use a direct object pronoun. I'll give you the money next week. And here you're speaking to someone formally. Le daré el dinero la semana que viene. Remember that usted, the formal version of you in the singular, uses the same object pronouns as he or she. And here we have to use an indirect object pronoun because there will be an exchange. The money will directly receive the action of being given, and we must use an indirect object pronoun to say to whom it will be given. So how did you do on the quiz? Let me know in the comments. And you can also let me know if there are any other topics from Spanish grammar that you'd like me to cover. Please don't forget to give me a like as it really helps the channel and helps the video be seen by more people. Also, be sure to subscribe so you're notified when I upload new lessons. See you in the next one. Ciao.